The 30th police cruiser rolled up my driveway like it owned the place, lights off, slow, deliberate, like a warning. The officer stepped out holding a fresh complaint with my name on it, and I saw the words "suspicious activity and threat to the community" stamped across the top. And all I could think was, how did buying a quiet house turn into a full-time job defending myself from a homeowners association? I'm Ethan Parker, and I didn't move to Cedar Glen Highlands for drama. I moved because I wanted space trees and a life where the loudest thing at night was the wind in the pines, not a neighbor's ego in high heels. I paid cash for the place because it was a weird deal. Nice house, good bones price that didn't make sense. The listing said bordering conservation land, like that was supposed to be charming, but the county records were messy. I've worked around federal highway projects long enough to know that when paperwork looks too clean on the surface, it usually means something ugly got buried underneath. The first week I was still unpacking boxes when I heard footsteps marching up my drive, sharp, fast, confident. I looked up, and there she was, Brenda Whitman, HOA president, 17-year reign. A blazer that cost more than my first car, and that tight smile people wear when they think they're untouchable. She didn't introduce herself like a neighbor. She introduced herself like a judge. "Mr. Parker," she said, not asking if that was my name, "you're trespassing. This road is not yours. This whole strip is protected land. The homeowners association manages it." I blinked once slow, like my brain needed a second to catch up to the audacity. "Ma'am," I said, holding up my keys, "this is my house." Brenda's smile got thinner. "You have 24 hours to stop using this access road. If you don't, I'll have you removed." Behind her was a little lineup, 2 board members in matching polo shirts, arms crossed like they were security. It was a performance, and I could tell she'd done it before. Then my neighbor Calvin Brooks wandered over from next door. Older guy, calm voice, hands always smelling like cedar and motor oil. He didn't even look at me. First he looked right at Brenda. "Brenda," he said like he was tired, "don't start that again." Her head snapped toward him, and for a split second her mask slipped. She recovered fast, but I saw it fear just a flash, like she'd been caught mid-lie. She left without another word, heels clicking down the drive. But I didn't get to enjoy the silence. Because that night 2 cops showed up at my door. Polite, professional, confused. They said they got a call about a new resident blocking community access and possible illegal development. I walked them outside, showed them my deed on my phone, showed them the parcel map, and they basically shrugged. "Looks like a civil issue," one of them said. "Sorry to bother you." I thought that would be it. It wasn't even close. Over the next few weeks, the complaints piled up like junk mail. Noise violations when I didn't even own a speaker. Suspicious deliveries because Amazon dropped off books. Illegal parking because my own truck was in my own driveway. One time, no joke, someone called because I was grilling a steak and the report said smoke and chemical odors. Chemical odors. It was a harassment campaign, and Brenda ran it like a schedule. She didn't need to win in court. She just needed to exhaust me, make me feel watched, make me feel like I didn't belong. By the 10th visit, the officers started recognizing my porch light. By the 15th, one of them actually sighed before he rang the bell. By the 20th, I stopped answering with anger and started answering with a folder. Because here's the thing, if you're going to fight someone who loves power, you don't fight them with volume. You fight them with receipts. I started logging everything: date, time, officer's name, case number, what the complaint claimed, what the reality was. I built a timeline so clean it could have been presented to a judge without a single correction. Still, it got to me. Not in the dramatic movie montage way, in the quiet way, the real way. The way you stop sleeping through the night because you're listening for tires on gravel. The way you start checking the window before you make coffee. Like caffeine is a risky activity now. The way your chest tightens every time headlights sweep across your living room wall. And one night, after another knock at my door, after another officer reading another complaint like he hated his own job, I closed the door and just stood there, staring at the deadbolt. I didn't think maybe I'm wrong like some cheesy confession. I thought something worse. Maybe I'm the idiot for thinking I could just live here. Maybe the system isn't broken. Maybe it's working exactly the way Brenda likes it. I sat on the kitchen floor with my back against the cabinets, and I didn't move for a long time. I wasn't scared of her. I was tired of the constant friction, the constant pressure, the constant reminder that someone with a title and too much free time could make my life miserable. Then I remembered something I learned a long time ago on federal projects. Paper doesn't care about your feelings. Paper only cares about facts. So I went back to the one thing Brenda kept obsessing over: the road. Cedar Ridge Drive. What everyone in the neighborhood called the Community Access Road. Brenda talked about it like it was sacred, like it belonged to the Homeowners Association the way a crown belongs to a king. But when I pulled up the historical records, when I dug deeper than the glossy HOA binder they handed out at move-in, I found a different story. A federal highway survey from 1962, stamped, filed, boring to anyone who isn't me. And in that survey was a clean, unforgiving line right through the exact stretch of road Brenda claimed was HOA property. It wasn't protected land. It wasn't community-owned. It was tied to my parcel through an old right-of-way correction that got recorded and then conveniently ignored for decades. And the more I pulled, the worse it got. Maintenance fees, special assessments, emergency road funds. Years of residents paying the Homeowners Association to repair a road they didn't legally own and, from what I could see, didn't actually repair. That's when I got the knock that changed everything. Not from police. From Megan Brooks Calvin's niece. She used to do accounting work for the HOA until Brenda restructured her out of a job. Megan stood on my porch with a plain USB drive in her hand, eyes sharp, jaw tight. "I heard she's targeting you," Megan said. "So, I'm done being quiet." I didn't reach for it right away. "What's on that?" Megan held my gaze. Transfers, fake invoices, shell contractors, and board minutes Brenda never wanted anyone to read out loud. My stomach turned not from surprise, but from confirmation. Brenda wasn't just bullying people. She was feeding off them. I took the drive, and that night I didn't sleep at all. I went through files until my eyes burned. Payments routed through companies that didn't exist outside a P.O. box. Security patrol expenses billed to the HOA same month. Brenda's husband bought a brand new SUV. Roadwork charges, no permits, no crews, no records. And right on schedule, Brenda escalated. She stopped hiding behind paperwork and started acting like she owned my driveway in person. One night, close to midnight, I saw flashlights moving along the tree line. Not cops, not security, just silhouettes, 3, maybe 4, walking like they belonged there. When I stepped onto my porch, I saw Brenda's husband Derek wearing a reflective vest like it made him official. He shined a light right at my face. "Neighborhood watch," he said, smiling. "We're keeping the community safe." "Get off my property," I said, calm enough that my voice didn't shake. Derek lifted his chin. "We can be wherever we need to be." That was the moment I stopped treating this like a nuisance and started treating it like a threat. The next morning, Brenda sent out an HOA email. Megan forwarded it to me, telling residents they needed to pay a $5,000 emergency security assessment because the new homeowner was a risk. Me. The guy who owned a lawnmower and a stack of documents. Some neighbors bought it, some didn't. But enough people asked questions that Brenda finally did what bullies always do when the crowd starts noticing. She came to my house. This time she didn't bring the polo shirt entourage. She came alone, smiling like a salesperson. "Ethan," she said softly, like we were friends. "Let's be reasonable." I didn't invite her in. I didn't offer water. I just stood on my porch with my hands in my pockets, letting the silence make her uncomfortable. She glanced at the house, the trees, the road. "You like it here, I can tell. And the community wants harmony." "What do you want?" I asked. Her smile widened. "Tell me your number." I laughed once, short and humorless. "My number." "Don't play naive," Brenda said, her voice tightening. "I can make problems disappear, or I can make them worse. Let's not drag this out." I leaned forward slightly. "You already dragged it out. 30 police visits, fake complaints, night patrols, extortion emails." Her eyes flicked just once like she couldn't believe I said the quiet parts out loud. "I'm offering you an easy way out," she said. "Sell, take a profit, move on." And that was when I knew she still didn't understand what she was dealing with. "I didn't buy this place for the view," I said. "I bought it because your story doesn't match the records." The smile died. Her face hardened, and the real Brenda showed up again. "You have no idea who you're messing with," she hissed. I kept my voice level. "Actually, I do." That afternoon I made calls. Not the dramatic I know a guy kind. The professional kind, a financial crimes contact I trusted, a property attorney who didn't flinch at messy surveys, a licensed survey crew with a reputation for precision. 3 days later, survey flags appeared along Cedar Ridge Drive like bright little truths nobody could ignore. The crew measured, marked, documented, and served certified notices the way you serve reality, politely, formally, and without emotion. Neighbors gathered on porches. People whispered. Phones came out. Brenda watched from across the street, arms locked, jaw clenched so tight I thought her teeth might crack. And then the SUVs arrived. Not HOA, federal. When the agents stepped out, Brenda moved fast, marching toward them like she could intimidate a badge, the same way she intimidated retirees at HOA meetings. "What is this?" she snapped. "You can't just show up. This is private community business." One of the agents didn't even blink. Brenda Whitman. Her posture shifted just a fraction. "Yes," she said, still trying to sound superior. "And you are." "Financial Crimes Task Force," he said, and nodded to the second agent. "We have a warrant related to wire fraud, money laundering, and racketeering." Brenda's face drained so quickly it was almost impressive. Behind her, Derek took one step back, then another, like distance could save him. It didn't. The agents moved with quiet certainty. No shouting, no theatrics, just cuffs, rights read, and the click that ends a long run of arrogance. Brenda tried to speak, tried to spin it into a misunderstanding, but the words wouldn't land. Not anymore. Not with neighbors watching, not with federal agents holding binders thicker than her ego. As they led her toward the vehicle, she twisted her head and locked eyes with me. "You ruined everything," she said, voice low and venomous. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just said the truth. "No," I replied. "You did. I just stopped you from hiding it." A few days later, I hired a contractor to fix a drainage issue. The old survey flagged work that should have been done decades ago. Work the HOA claimed they'd been maintaining for years. The road was closed for exactly as long as the permits allowed, and for the first time since I moved in, no one knocked on my door. No patrols, no threats, no police visits, just silence. And the lesson hit me like it always does when a bully finally runs out of room to lie. Power loves shadows, but paperwork turns the lights on.